All right, yo. We get right in here. We had a little bit of a conversation. Excuse the bonnet and the robe. We kind of just rolled out of bed. It's freaking 7:40 in the morning. But I had a lot on my mind to talk about. You know, we're having another FUT discussion video. We'll have some gameplay video today. We'll do videos today. We'll do a video early. That will be like this, the video we're watching right now. Then we have a gameplay video later. We'll be doing a video on Dro, Kaka, as well as freaking Tram. So you can look forward to that later. But I do want to talk about, you know, certain things in the game right now, because again, everyone's complaining about individual things. And the thing I want to, like, you know, more so focus on is the thing that I talk about a lot around here, which is, you know, women players don't actually like matter when it comes to, you know, the dialogue around this game. People like to use women's players in this game as a shoehorn for, you know, why the game is bad and things like that. One of the biggest things you have to understand about women in this game is it doesn't actually matter. At the end of the day, these are all skins. Like, all these cards are just skins. Zanetti, Vieira, Tram, Kaka, Dro, Savandis, you know, CC, these are all skins. At the end of the day, the player models of the players in this game are just base models that are more so based on their body types and their heights and acceleration than their gender. Their gender actually do not matter at all. You're just looking at skins, you know, player likeness. So what that means is, you know, to just make things a little bit more simplistic, even though that should be simplistic enough, is it doesn't matter what gender your players are. What matters is what their body type is, and what matters is what their height is in comparison to their acceleration types. For example, the reason why someone like, let's use someone who's meta. Let's go Alex Pfeiffer. The reason why someone like Alex Pfeiffer is, you know, meta isn't because she's actually that crazy or that good. It's because she's very, very fast. But part of why she's very, very fast is her body type and, you know, her height. Alex is 5'5". Both skills wise and weak foot wise, but most of her height. She's 5'5". When you're a short player in this game, because EA, because they did this thing where they listen to the player base, they actually listen to the player base. The player base said we want better dribbling, so EA for this game made dribbling better across the board. So who got the best end of the stick when it came to dribbling? Short players. All short players in this game are crazy good. Gender doesn't freaking matter. Utrigueno, insane. Pfeiffer, insane. Short players are very, very good. All players aren't. And it's not just the height that matters, but body type matters. You can have a short player who doesn't have the body type to benefit from the improvements EA made to dribbling that allows people to appear as like crazy good in the game. For example, the Beanie is 5'1". She's not crazy in game. She's 5'1" explosive too when it comes to her third type. I think she has like a short and medium body type. Like, I should go look at it because you can't see it in game. You have to go to FUTBin or FUT.gg. Her card is barely usable. If the narrative is all women cards who are attackers are great, she should be a meta card because she's 5'1". She's not. She's just not a good card. Carolyn, same situation. Not a tall player. You know, decent, same similar type as Pfeiffer. Not a meta card. Why? Because she's not that good. You know, and the list goes on and on and on. But you hear this narrative that women players are just broken. It's like, it's not them that's broken. It's the meta that makes them appear as if they're broken. It's not even just them. It's just all short players. Short players are faster in game. Short players have better dribbling in game. You know, and one of the examples I give you was Nick had made the comment that Sophia Wilson is better than Mbappe, and she shouldn't be. And it's like, well, first off, she's not better than Mbappe in game. When you say things like that, you have to give actual information to provide feedback on why that is your opinion. You can't just say words. You have to actually put meaning behind the words. if you're saying that she's better than Mbappe, in what way? In which Mbappe? Because he has more than one card. You know, she's not better than all the Mbappes. She's better than gold Mbappe, and that's pretty much it. But also, again, body type matters as well as silver type and height. Mbappe's like what, 6'1", then he also has a unique body type, and he's also like, I think he's also like lengthy, right? Just naturally. Mbappe is a bad example to compare to Sophia Wilson because they're not the same player. She's 5'5". You know what would be a better male comparison? Messi, who's 5'7". But, you know, again, short player. He made the comment that her dribbling is better than Messi's. I have videos using both of them in the exact same squad as her now. Messi feels way better on dribble than Wilson does. Wilson's a better card because she's a better shooter and she has more pace and has more physical. Messi is definitely a better dribbler. But also, look at the ratings, look at the cards. One of the big things I want to point out is, before we get back into like Wilson and Mbappe, is you have to also consider pricing. The best male players in the game are expensive, like very expensive. So let's head over here to, you know, the sites. So we have Mbappe. This Mbappe is way better than Wilson, like just way better than Wilson. 6 million when it comes to coin. Wilson was an SBC. Not only that, she was the SBC to do during team of the year. So everyone has a card. 6 million SBC. The price doesn't freaking matter, just SBC. So what I'm trying to make when it comes to like the pricing here is the best women's players in the game are cheap. The best men's player in the game are expensive. So through that, what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot more people use women cards over male cards, not because they're actually better, but because they're just cheaper. Alex Pfeiffer's like what, 80k, almost 100k. You know, compared to, let's say, Lamine. Let's go. We're going best in slot freaking male players for that exact position. 1.9 million. I feel like if you're looking at what I'm showing you, it should all click in your head on why you see more women players on people's teams than men's players on people's teams. It's easier to get. At the beginning of the year, when Pena was at the peak of her meta, I had mentioned to people that you want to know why Pena is so freaking popular? It's not that she's just so good because the Mornay was better, 88 Wilson was better. There's a lot of better cards than Pena when it came to women's cards, in male cards. Messi was a demon. Messi at the beginning of this year was a complete demon. I had no issues when I faced Pena's. Whenever I played someone who had Messi, 86 Messi, or who had Dybala, those people were complete nightmares. But the reason Pena was so good early in the year is because the playstyle she had and her price. At the time of the year, when she was like at her peak of her meta, no one had this combination of playstyles with her body type and with her stats who wasn't a crazy expensive card. You would have had to have like Maradona and like base Maradona and Alex Morgan to compete with like the combination of her stats, her body type in game. She was like 6k at that time when she was like her peak of her meta. Again, pricing. It was easier to just use Pena than it was to get Alex Morgan or to get Maradona. You know, so you have to make sense of when you use words to try to like make it seem like something is broken in a video game. You have to actually be sensical. You can't just say this is this. If women players were as good as everyone make them out to be, then every top team you see would just be a women's all 11 squad, but it's not. When you watch pros play, it might have a Wilson, might have a lot of Helene. Maybe you see like a Russo here and there, maybe if they're short on coin, because she's pretty cheap to get, and they do have like a limit on like how much coin they can use. That's pretty much it. You don't really see like a full front, you know, 3 or front 4 or 5 of women players when it comes to pro players, or even like the best players in general. But if they're overpowered, you would. But for pro players and good players, money isn't an issue. They can afford Mbappe. They don't need to rely on, you know, cheap alternatives, which the women players are. They're cheap alternatives. But again, going back to my what I originally said before is they're just skins. These aren't actual people. This is a video game. And when people try to do is they try to like, this isn't realistic. It's not realistic that, you know, Savava is, you know, muscling off Mbappe. Was it realistic when Dani Alves was doing that IRL? Dani Alves isn't a big dude. Was it realistic when Puyol was doing IRL? But those are men. This is a video game. They're not men or women. They're just player models with likenesses attached to their face. They're not real people. This is a video game. If this was a real life, then yes, all that makes sense to say Tarsien should not be out muscling Vieira. That makes 100% like logical sense. IRL. This is a video game. These aren't real people. They're just player models. At the end of the day, when you strip away like all of these faces, it's just 3D bodies that are like have no eyes, no face, no lips, no nothing. It's just red and blue models. Some cases just white models or gray models, and they just throw on some skins like Fortnite, like Rainbow Six Siege, like any game that you play. It's all just base models with skins on them. But trying to like make an argument about their gender is hilarious. The meta is a meta because of what it allows people to do. I was just watching someone play the game. They were getting cooked by an Evo player who's basically just Alex Pfeiffer but a dude. He was a short guy. He had like a lean and medium body type. He was like 5'6", 5'7", and just like explosive when it comes to his archetype. It was a bronze card of the guy Evo to be like a 91 rated card, and he was just cooking this streamer, just cooking him. He scored 5 goals, and they were all freaking one time through balls, where he did a freaking a finesse low driven. Very meta goal. That card's a guy though. How is he doing the meta things with it, like when it's a guy? You see what I'm trying to point out here? The gender doesn't matter. The player model matters. Their build, their height, their archetypes, things, all that stuff matters when it comes to getting the most out of them. At the end of the day, the gameplay issue with this game has nothing to do with the gender of any of the other players. It has everything to do with what the meta is that the players abuse, as well as what the underground issues are with the game's code and networking. People spend too much time when it comes to making videos in this game complaining about things that are superficial. Evos, gender, even formations are superficial. You're not talking about the actual issues of the game. You're not talking about the crashing, the delay, the very old code the game's built on top of. Oh, there's too many animations in a game that causes a delay to begin with. Not talking about how people are getting disconnected in games that they're winning. You're not talking about how the rewards in this game are so bad, and it makes it to when people just don't care to even play the game or to rank up in the game because the rewards are awful. Right now, Rivals rewards are shit, just absolutely awful. So people just don't care to freaking rank up. You know, I just completed the season 5, season 6 weekly play. That's 5 weeks of getting 5 wins, not 5 wins, but 5 plays in 3 different game modes each week for 6 weeks. When do I got as my reward? An 88 rated discard freaking FUT birthday card. That's awful. People don't talk about it. People aren't talking about that. They're not talking about the issues with the game. They're telling you evos are broken. They're telling you, hey, you need to get women out of the game because that matters. No, it doesn't. Even if they weren't in a freaking game, you'll be having the exact same issues. Literally the exact same issues. People like even like last year, people blame the women players for why the pack weight was shit. Pack weight was shit because EA made it shit. There's 4 times more men in the game than women in the game. You have a higher chance of packing male players than women players. They just added the Thai league. You know what that does when they add new leagues? It dilutes the player pool, which means the pack weight inherently gets worse. When they add the Brazilian leagues, pack weight's gonna get more diluted, They add the League of Mechs, it's gonna get more diluted. Likely it's gonna get worse. And in general, pack weight is based on by EA, so EA makes it worse on purpose. But again, people are small-minded. They gotta find something to still make an excuse for why something is the way that it is. They just are just gonna go with that. Instead of, again, complaining about what actually matters in the game. Gameplay needs to be better. Rewards need to be better. You know, this game, what players you use should not even freaking matter. You should play whatever squads you want to play, whatever formation you want to play, and do whatever the hell you want. That's what you should be able to do. Whether you're using men's players, women's players, doesn't matter, because again, it's just a skin. You should be able to do whatever you want in this game. But you can't, because the gameplay is so shit and the community voluntarily decides, I'm just going to freaking play the most meta way possible, which is 4-4-1-1, 4-5-1, 4-4-2, 4-1-2-1-2. Those are information that exist. Make sure everyone comes back on defense. Only the striker and maybe the cam are going to be freaking, you know, up top to get a freaking a one-time through ball. Counter. Park the bus. Counter. Park the bus. Counter. That's how the game's play right now. No creativity, no uniqueness. Funny thing is, mentioned before how watch a streamer get his ass beat by an Evo card. That Evo card was a Passion Evo. I can say it was a bronze card. It was a bronze card. It wasn't meta. I've never seen anyone use that card before. It wasn't like a meta card. That's when he just copy pasted from like Alzio or somebody else. But that card was amazing because it was made to be that way. At the end of the day, what really dictates the success that you will have in this game, outside of, you know, the number of things that can make gameplay, again, delay, is the person behind the sticks. If you're not good at the game, you're still going to get your ass beat no matter what players you're using. You can have R9 and still be ass. I know, I've seen them. I play against a lot of R9s, and I tell people in like Nate chat and freaking release chat, I have not faced an R9 that was crazy. You know? And when it comes to like, well, how come I'm still facing, you know, Pfeiffer and Wilson in Rivals? Because again, one of those players was cheap as fuck when she came out. Pfeiffer was like 40k when she dropped. Wilson again was SBC. You want to know where you have a lower chance of seeing those cards? Higher divisions. If you're in Div 6, yeah, of course you'll be still seeing the exact same freaking like players like Pfeiffer, because when Div 6 don't have the freaking coin or the packs to freaking even get better players. They can only use those budget meta cards. Meanwhile, I might see a Pfeiffer once every 4th game. I don't see her that often. I see freaking Mbappe a lot. I see Messi, you know, not as much as I used to, but still seeing quite a bit. I see freaking Veer all the damn time. I see freaking that Spurs freaking keeper, don't know his freaking name, almost every game. Either him or Tony or Donnarumma. I see, like I said, I see Mbappe a lot. I'm surprised I see Mbappe as much as I do see him. But again, I don't ever see a Flint. I don't ever see a Tarsian. I don't ever see. I've seen CC a bit, like a couple months ago. Now I don't see her that much. I don't ever see any Iniesta. I've only seen like one Rivaldo. I think I've seen like 3 Pogbas when it comes to like the whole putting him into that 500k Evo. Seen someone who had Trophy Titans Zidane, absolute shit. He was awful. He made me think of that saying that freaking bad players get good pack luck. He was terrible with Zidane. This is a long video, and I know like the pacing here is like not the usual pacing because again, I just woke up. Like, you know, I didn't just wake up, but you know, it's the morning. In the world of it, like for those who are dense, this will come off as like me trying to like defend women cards being in the game. They're in the game, whether they like it or not. So it's not, I don't have to defend them because they're in the game. They're not going to move them from the game. It's more so to like tell you there should be more detail to giving to like complaining about things, but also to focus on what actually matters in the game. What matters in the game isn't the skins on the player models. matters is the actual core gameplay. Gameplay for this game is awful right now. If the gameplay was good, no one would be bitching about anything. Unless you're just like bad at the game, because like if you're getting beat a lot, you're angry, and so you start to like just lash out. And like if you win, you can still complain, obviously, but like you don't complain as much when you're winning games. It's sparingly. If gameplay was better, if rewards were better, if SBCs were more, I don't want to say unique, but varied. You know, we're about to get our third Cafu SBC. Why? I like Cafu. It's one of my favorite players of all time. I'm a Cafu guy. But why are we getting a third SBC of Cafu? Well, you could have did a Loudrop SBC. You could have did a Dog Leash SBC. You know? And people. One of the things I'll before we wrap things up is people will sit and talk about how, you know, we need more variety and like promos, then not do the SBCs of like those cars. How many people do you think did the shown SBCs of those Argentina players? I guarantee you very few. I guarantee you very few people are doing the SBCs for the EMLS and things like that. People say that they want that kind of variety. When EA gives it to you, you don't even freaking do it. You just want the option, but you'll still ignore it. EA has data. EA has data on what everyone in this game does, and they make their decisions based off what that data shows them. If data shows that everyone's freaking going to do the Gavi SBC or the freaking SBC for the Madrid player, they'll do more of those. Versus, hey, 3 people did the SBC for freaking what's his face? You know, let's just go ahead and pull this up. This is the last player to SBCs. I bet you most people didn't do this. It's very, very downloaded. But hey, we want variety. Most people didn't do this. We want variety, right? I bet you most people didn't do these. Neither of them, because they're not players people are familiar with. They're not players who are from a big league. Y'all liars. You know? You don't say you want variety, but you don't. I guarantee you no one freaking did him or this guy. It'd be like 3 people who are fans of those freaking teams. But no one has done this SBC or that one. I think Boris did that one though. Probably has a little bit more of a upvote because, you know, influence. No one did that. No one did that. No one did that. And the reason I'm showing you that is, like, again, people say we want more variety and not just meta players. They give it to you, but you don't freaking take it. But hey, you know what's easier to do? It's easier to complain than it's to find solutions. It's easier to complain than actually see what was being attempted to be done with the game and going, okay, I appreciate that. Because I know what one person might say is, did I do these FPCs? No. I don't know why, because I don't want those players. And it's okay that you don't want those players either. My point with bringing them up is you can't say you want lower league players and then ignore lower league players. You can't say that there's too many freaking Mbappe freaking promo cards and then want Mbappe. That's what happens. People sit there, well, we have too many Mbappe cards, but at the same time, I wish I freaking could pack Mbappe. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. And all these cards other than his freaking, you know, 291s are the best wingers in the game. You just don't see him because of how expensive he is. If you had 10 million, you'd buy this freaking Mbappe card. If you had 10 million and you didn't care about freaking, what you call him, having first owner. But yeah, pack weight matters. Pack weight matters. What people are using right now is based on access. People have access to like I can play about Van de Ven more so because he's not unique, not because he's actually like that crazy. More people have Van de Ven than people who have freaking vintage. It's just how the game works. So you'll see more Van de Vens than vintages. But also just meta. People are sheep. They're influenced. People use who they're told to use. You wouldn't see as many Wilsons or Pfeiffer if people didn't tell them to use Pfeiffer and Morgan. I'm Morgan freaking Wilson. Then it comes to Pena. Pena's popularity was mostly by accident. She was not a meta card for like the first month of the game. It's actually Duarte, ironically. But because content creators had started pinpointing Pinion out, more people went to Pinion. And then she had like a situation where she became like a freaking a TikTok, supply freaking dump for traders. And then that launched her even further into the stratosphere on being a meta card. People just assume that, okay, she's just crazy, go ahead and go buy her and use her. And then through that, people actually use her. I was like, oh, she is very, very crazy because of her playstyles. Pinion was a result of the playstyles being too strong in FC26, not because women are crazy. You give her playstyles to any male player, they perform the exact same way. That's why those evos exist, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, where the guy freaking cooked a streamer. Because he got great playstyles. But anyways, like I said, 30 minutes of this video doesn't need to be this long. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out of here. Deuces. Also, just noticed that I'm like looking at like Mbappe's opinions and stuff, and I didn't freaking change my freaking camera. So apologies. I was showing footband, or trying to show footband, but I forgot to freaking change the freaking scene. So I was looking at like Van de Ven and Pinion right here, and Vidic right here, then all the words of Mbappe. So apologies for someone mentions, hey, we don't see what the fuck you're talking about. Looking at freaking footband. Got the freaking change it. Again, it's early. I'm tired. Yeah, I'll see you guys later.